How can you move from struggling with consistency to becoming a sales magnet?
Your personal sales records.
This is the question that I asked my clients in our most recent call, and I want to share these insights with you. Welcome back to all of my warrior shamans. Very happy to have you here again. If you're new here, let me know in the comments below so that I can properly welcome you. I want to share the story of how my client went from struggling with consistency.
What are the other areas in your life where you're telling yourself you can't, and the truth is that you 100% can?
Consistency. That is the one thing that goes across every area of my life.
To stepping into the energy of a sales magnet, a powerhouse. And I also want to share how I manifested moving into this gorgeous city. Because before I was living in stressful, noisy Bucharest. And to do that, I need to take you somewhere special. If you're struggling with consistency when it comes to posting, for example, you're probably also struggling with consistently creating sales calls, clients, and that usually leads to feast and famine cycles. Your income is going up and down, and you have no idea how to take control of that. Here's the biggest misconception. A lot of people feel like you can just power through it.
I'm trying to encourage you to use your willpower
to suddenly become consistent and disciplined. But I'm here to tell you that there's an easier, more effortless way to achieve consistency and grow your income. But most people don't use it because we've been brainwashed to work hard, that it has to be stressful, difficult, and hard. This is the Black Church right here in Brasov. This church actually was burnt down. That's why it's still called the Black Church. One of the top touristic destinations here. My client's vision is to build a 7-figure business and impact 3 million people. But she knew that her lack of consistency was holding her back. And I immediately recognized it because in my case, when I'm not being consistent, it's simply because I'm not truly believing in my ability to achieve my big vision. I lose confidence, I doubt myself. Because think of it this way, if you are 100% confident that you're going to achieve a big vision, are you going to not do the things that get you closer to the vision? But when we don't have that confidence, it's like, well, you know, what's the point? It's not really going to happen anyway. So we lose motivation, we lose inspiration, we lose personal power when we do that. So I asked my client, how confident do you feel from 1 to 10 that you're going to achieve this big vision, build a 7-figure business, and impact 3 million people?
First number that pops into your mind.
The first number that popped in my mind was 5,
Right.
but then I started chunking it down to even lower with my brain kicked in.
And it's interesting because she had built a 6-figure business before and impacted 2 million people. She had 2 million followers for that specific business, and yet she was still doubting herself. So the question is, how do we boost our confidence so that we do show up every single day in a powerful way and get closer to the big vision? We're gonna talk about it at that special place.
Yum.
Let's go. We're getting closer. Funny enough, despite living here, I haven't been to this place for 4 years now. This story is going to help a lot with manifesting your reality because 4 years ago, looking at this exact mountain, sitting on this exact bench, I manifested moving into this amazing, gorgeous city that I freaking love. 4 years ago, me and my wife came here to visit. We were celebrating our 1-year anniversary. We weren't yet married, and we were also celebrating my birthday because funny enough, we met on my birthday. And we were staying at that hotel, and I remember like it was yesterday. I came, sat on this bench. There were a few pine tree branches on the ground, and I was smoking a cigar, looking at the mountain. I pulled out this small pocket knife that I had, and I started cleaning one of the pine branches. And I was just hypnotized by this mountain, and my heart was just singing with excitement. And before I knew it, I started engraving the pine branch with my knife, and I wrote down home, and I still have it to this day. So this was the first step in the manifestation. Later, I bought a beautiful candle and I wrote down for our home. We were living in an apartment in Bucharest. And just like one event synchronized after the other, the house we live in just popped out of nowhere. My tip in that sense is think of your future self. What would be an object that that version of you would own? Maybe a candle for the house, maybe an air freshener for the new car. Think of that object and buy it right now and write down on the object what it's for. I honestly believe that that's going to accelerate your manifestation. To get back to the story of my client, how did she overcome her struggle with consistency, find her confidence, and shift into a sales powerhouse energy? I asked her, what would it take for you to be a 10 out of 10 in terms of your confidence that you will achieve your vision? And she's like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I noticed she was struggling to come up with an answer. So I said, you know what? When I was a kid, I used to believe that it was impossible for me to be funny, to be social. I was always the awkward kid in any social situation. Later, I didn't believe I could make a living from teaching martial arts, and I built one of the most successful martial arts schools in the country. Later, I believed nobody would be stupid enough to pay for my coaching, and yet here we are. So my life has been a series of crossing out the impossible, the things that I felt were impossible. And she started thinking, he's like, you know what? I actually had a period in my life where I felt unstoppable. Really? This is actually one of the things I got my clients to do. Funny enough, we'll get back to that. I said, really? She's like, yeah.
But ironically, the reason I did those things is because everybody told me it wasn't possible.
Yes.
I'm like, hold my beer, watch this.
Hold my beer there, Rufy. Let's watch the style.
I said, that's it. That's the energy you want. That person can achieve anything. She's like, yeah, you know, I think I lost that version of myself. Well, you haven't lost it. It's still available to you. It's just about choosing it. So I invited my client, just like you noticed, to have an hourly alarm on her phone to remind her to step into that energy, that power, until it becomes her natural state once again. And I invite you to do this as well. What's the time in your life when you felt unstoppable, unshakable? What was your attitude? Could you step into that energy once again? And my bet is yes. But don't be too hard on yourself when you're not being that version. I slip, I forget myself, but I realize I'm not in the state that I prefer, and I do what I need to do to shift out of it and go back into the person that I want to be. And by the way, I'm doing a free live event where you can connect with other warrior shamans like yourself and uncover how to become magnetic to your ideal clients so you never have to chase another client again. Details below in the description. The event is going to be right here. I'm kidding, it's going to be on Zoom. Let me know what was your favorite insight from this conversation. I will read the comments and pin the best one. And until next time, tap on this video on the mountain right here to uncover more ways to grow your business with a lot more ease and less stress.